The Denver Broncos are bringing back an old friend. What's up, guys? Welcome to Denver Broncos Syndicate, part of the Sports Syndicate family of channels where we are dedicated to bringing you content about our favorite sports teams. I'm your host, Gage Madrid. Now, before we get started, guys, just to address the elephant in the room, if my voice sounds all messed up, it is because I am a little bit under the weather. I'm currently congested as hell, but nonetheless, we are going to push on through and get this content out for you guys. But before we jump in, guys, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this video as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. As I always say, guys, those are two free and easy ways that you can help show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out to fellow members of Broncos country just like you and me. Earlier this morning, it was announced that the Denver Broncos are reuniting with an old friend as they are signing punter Riley Dixon to a 2-year deal. Dixon was a former 7th-round draft pick by Denver back in 2016 out of Syracuse, and he spent the first 2 years of his career here. He now makes his way back to Denver under the new Broncos special teams unit led by special teams coordinator Ben Kotwicka and assistant head coach Mike Westhoff to serve as competition to incumbent Corliss Waitman. The Broncos did place the low-level tender on Waitman, so he will be back for training camp, but at this point, I have to imagine that this is Riley Dixon's job to lose. Dixon had a really strong rookie year in Denver under then Broncos special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis. He was top 10 in the NFL in gross punting and was one of the best punters in punts downed inside the 20 as a rookie. Unfortunately, he had a big-time sophomore slump, and his production dipped significantly in almost every major statistical category. Following that season, the Broncos ultimately decided to go in a different direction at punter under new Broncos special teams coordinator Tom McMahon, and they ended up releasing Dixon ahead of the 2018 offseason. Ever since then for the Broncos, it has just been a revolving door at punter. They've gone from Marquette King to Colby Wadman to Sam Martin to Corliss Waitman. I honestly feel like there's a chance Marquette King could have still been in Denver had Tom McMahon not tried to screw with his mechanics. King's production took a significant nosedive after he arrived in Denver, and he ultimately only ended up playing in 4 games for the Broncos before suffering an injury. The Broncos then cut him and moved on to Colby Wadman as their punter. But as for Riley Dixon, after he got cut by the Broncos, he ended up getting picked up by the New York Giants. He spent 2018 through 2021 in New York and was quite consistent for the Giants, actually. Easily, Riley Dixon's best football of his career was played when he was in New York. He then went on to the Rams last year to reunite with his old special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis. Now, I gotta be honest, Broncos country, if you actually look at the stats here, I'm not a big fan of this move. I know that's not exactly a popular take, but if you really look at the stats, there's not a huge difference in production between Riley Dixon and Corliss Waitman. Sure, Riley Dixon did have a higher gross punting average at 48.4 as compared to Corliss Waitman's 46.6. However, Corliss Waitman actually had a slightly better net punting average, and that's really what you want to look at. Corliss Waitman posted a 41.5 net punting average as compared to Riley Dixon, who posted just a 40.9. Dixon was actually almost a bottom 10 punter in terms of net punting last year. Then you move on to punts down inside the 20. Although Corliss Waitman did punt 25 more times than Riley Dixon did, he had 30 punts down inside the 20 as compared to Riley Dixon's 19. And here's the stat that really concerns me. The big problem with Corliss Waitman in Denver last year was he allowed way too many returns on his punts. Now, actually, Riley Dixon, who mind you punted 25 times less than Corliss Waitman did last year, allowed 10 more yards in returning. On 96 punts, Corliss Waitman allowed 362 return yards on 44 returns. Now you compare that to Riley Dixon, on 36 returns, he allowed 372 yards. So yeah, if the Broncos were looking to get a significant upgrade at punter, I really don't know if they were going to find it in Riley Dixon. I do trust the new Broncos special teams brainchild moving forward in Ben Kotwicka and Mike Westhoff, but this is still a move that at least has me scratching my head a little bit. Riley Dixon ended up getting a 2-year deal from the Broncos. Although the finances have yet to be disclosed, you still have to imagine that he's the favorite to win that job. Although, it would not surprise me at all if Corliss Waitman actually took a step forward in his game in his second year and was able to beat out Riley Dixon for the job. That would not surprise me at all. Corliss Waitman did show flashes as a rookie, although he was massively inconsistent. You think back to our game on Sunday night against the San Francisco 49ers, and Corliss Waitman actually had a really good game that day. If our new special teams coaches can consistently get that kind of production out of Corliss Waitman, he's got the potential to be our punter of the future here in Denver. So yeah, definitely an interesting move for the Broncos to bring back Riley Dixon. And I gotta be honest, this move kind of makes me a little bit salty. It just reminds me that the Broncos never should have moved on from Britton Colquitt in the first place in 2016, and they also never should have moved on from Brett Kern back in 2009. Brett Kern went on to become one of the best punters in the NFL for the Tennessee Titans, and Josh McDaniels, the guy who heavily influenced Brett Kern getting cut here in Denver, actually went up to Kern many years later during a joint practice between the Patriots and the Titans and personally apologized to Brett Kern for cutting him. That's one of the few times where I've actually seen Josh McDaniels willingly eat crow, so you know that it had to have been a really big screw up for Josh McDaniels to take an L like that. Alright, Broncos country, I'm curious, how do you guys feel about this move? Do you think Riley Dixon was the right fit for the Denver Broncos? Do you also feel like the Broncos may address punter in the draft? Drop those comments down below, I would love to hear from you. Be sure to leave a like on this video as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. And while you're at it guys, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL for continuing Broncos coverage. And for now guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I am your host Gage Madrid saying peace out.